Hello everybody, welcome to another Valheim video. Today we're going to be learning how you can mod Vanilla Valheim. Yeah, that's right, you heard me. Mod Vanilla Valheim. That's right, take it in. Here's a few more seconds for you so that you can enrage your fury. And now that that's out of your system, you can actually take a moment to understand what this phrase really means. You see, modding vanilla is when you make changes to Valheim that use what already exists in the game. And I hear you already. You're like, blah, 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 modding. I get it. Why are you listening to the video? Go watch something else. This is more than just a building game. The truth is, Valheim is a game-building game. You're not just building a world. You're building an entire experience that stretches far beyond your comprehension of its limitations. You think you know Valheim, and you know what vanilla is. But do you? Do you really? Take this mod, for example, server Devcommands. You know, it's only got about, 700,000 downloads, more or less. Do you know why it has so many downloads? It's a secret, no one knows. Well, it's because despite the fact that Valheim does have dedicated server support, it actually has zero support for admin commands of any kind without this mod. If you're playing on a multiplayer server, it's not vanilla to have admins who can do anything. But I feel ya, I know that everybody just draws the line at a convenient spot for their own personal argument. So throughout the rest of the video, I'm just not gonna take that argument very seriously. And I'm gonna further describe why this is in fact vanilla modding. Cause I feel ya, I understand. I know that you can go to Thunderstore and browse and find all sorts of crazy mods. And you can end up with an experience that is completely not Valheim. Don't get me wrong, I get it. But here's the thing about all of those mods. You see, the vast majority of them are client-side. They have to be downloaded and installed. And then guess what happens as soon as Iron Gate pushes out an update? Well, loads of them break. It's constant. Yet the world of vanilla modding, it doesn't work that way. In fact, it's incredibly stable. I've been running a vanilla modded server. When Bogwitch came out, Path of Magic was running the very day within 24 hours. Vanilla side modding is incredibly reliable. And most of the things that you think about modding as a Valheim player, you're thinking of this kind of modding where you heavily adjust the game by adding things to it that aren't normally there. The problem with this is that it is rather time-consuming to create and get into. And while you don't need to be an outright programmer to mod, it does take a while to get into it and get started. What's so wonderful about vanilla modding is that it is exponentially faster and it is much easier to learn and playtest ideas. You don't have to spend the time coding them out or using databases to get everything up and running. In the traditional mod scene, for example, let's say that you want to start making a mod right now at this moment. There's quite a few things you need to do. Set up, get ready, install. It's probably an experience that if you're dedicated, in a week or two you can get more comfortable with. But then at that point, every time you want to try something, you still have to jump through some ropes, try some different things, package some things, compile some stuff, upload some stuff. With EWP, with vanilla modding, it's not like that. Start the clock now, because we're going to be doing some vanilla modding, and you'll really get a feel for how surgically different this kind of modding really is. We're going to make it so that every time the player jumps, something happens. So to do this, we need to look for the state of the player, and then we're going to spawn just like a visual effects I already found earlier. I'm going to make sure that this is definitely the script that runs, and then I'm going to save it, and then save it in the FTP client. After waiting approximately a minute for the file to refresh, we're good to go. Now you can see it's the moment of truth. Boom, we jump, and what happens? Look at that. We spawn something immediately. We're done. We just playtested an idea. We had it, we put it in the script, we applied it to the server, boom. All in the time that you've been watching this little demonstration. I don't know if you've done much modding, but that's fundamentally impossible in most situations. You simply can't learn that quickly. You can't try new things so fast. EWP, vanilla modding, is truly the gem of educating yourself about how all this works. And I'm incredibly grateful in particular to Yair and to Irongate for making Valheim. These people, they've done so much for the community, and I really want to help show you all what's possible because it's really beyond your wildest dreams. I know that the example I've shown is very simple, but it illustrates an important point. Because when you mod, you really have to know more of what you're doing and have a more thought out plan, simply because of all of the, let's call it architecture, you have to set up in order to get mods going and to test out ideas. Whereas with EWP, it's as fast as you just saw. This is why we need a clear distinction between the world of modding and vanilla modding. Vanilla mods are reliable. They use things that you've already seen before. They alter the game in ways that try and use what's already there to further the game's feeling. You think you know what vanilla is, but all that your persistence on vanilla does is show that you have a limited mindset that's slowing down your own ability to appreciate Valheim. What if this way of thinking that you've adopted from the masses is actually something that's harmful for you? What if you don't actually appreciate Valheim as much as you could because you're addicted to playing a version of it that's 2 or 3 years old that doesn't even technically exist anymore? Those same people who comment about those kind of things are the people who complain and moan to Irongate, constantly saying how they take too long, they don't develop, they let the game die, blah, blah, blah. Little do people realize that we've actually entered a time in Valheim where you are the limiting factor. Every time you complain about a mechanic, all that does is show your own ignorance of what's possible. Look at the Diverger, for example, a really fascinating part of Valheim. Well, what if they were a little bit more greedy? You know what I mean? What if every time you built a coin pile, the Diverger had a little habit of, pocketing it. Maybe it's not vanilla to you. To me it is. This is a Diverger. Those hearts are from locks. Everything you see is completely possible for a client to log into the server without ever having a single mod installed. If I can trick a player into thinking something is Vanilla Valheim, well, what do you think? Is it still Vanilla Valheim? Or let's say, purely hypothetically, that you're playing on a Valheim server and you're innocent, so you don't know that server Devcommands is on the server. You think that you're playing on a vanilla server. But the cold, harsh reality is that you're not playing on a vanilla server, because your server has an admin that uses server Devcommands. You are not playing vanilla. So where are we gonna draw this line, huh? But don't worry about it too much, because ultimately I understand that people, for the most part, mean well. And ultimately, the people who get really banded up against me are, they're trying to learn about something, and they just think I'm wrong. And ultimately, these people are just trying to learn. I don't blame them. That's why there is actually a clear difference between regular modding and vanilla modding. When you mod normally, you're going to add things to the game that are ultimately going to be client-side only. But when you use vanilla modding methods such as Infinity Hammer and Expand World Prefabs, then you don't have to worry about that kind of thing. You adjust the server itself and put a few text files on it, and then everybody on the server has to deal with them, even if they don't install a single mod. In fact, it would be incredibly easy to trick people into thinking that they're playing on a vanilla server, because a BepInX server doesn't even reveal itself to them. And here's the thing, let's say that you're listening at this point in the video, you're really dedicated, and I understand that probably you're interested in game design or these kind of things, because otherwise you would have effed off. And I apologize if I offended anyone who's listening right now, I really don't intend to. I'm basically doing this to reach more people. They're gonna get mad at me, but for every 10 people who gets mad at me, a couple genuine people interested in EWP will get started and get involved, and then we're gonna have even more people sharing ideas in this fantastic community. So in this sense, I'm willing to take one for the team and take the heat. It's a sign that it's working. But that being said, I do apologize if you find it abrasive. I don't mean to abrase you. It's all part of the bigger picture, so to speak. But considering you are still listening, that means you get it, you know? There is a difference. This vanilla modding style is very newbie friendly. I don't know if you realized it yet, but I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing. I'm not a coder, I'm not a programmer, yet I've managed to make a whole customized world where every time I encounter something in Valheim I dislike, I can just make a script that counters it, makes a new mechanic, or makes it feel more rewarding or interesting. Gone are the days where Valheim was a base building game. You see, Valheim is a game building game. Thanks for watching. If you want to support my work, then consider getting your own Valheim BepInEx server that you can practice EWP on. You don't actually need to get a server, so you could do it on single player, but I find the experience to be more rewarding when you have a dedicated server that people can join and play on when you're not around. That way you get more playtesting experience. And let's be real here, there are no good ideas in game design. There's only observation of what players do. Observation of player behavior. This is what shows you what is really fun, where it all comes from. And that's the true glory of EWP, or vanilla modding. It allows you to access this straight away. All you need to know is Valheim. That's it. So let me ask you, do you know Valheim?